One.
Hi, I'm going to show you how to navigate your GradPoint dashboard and give you some tips of some settings that might make keeping progress and pace with your students a little more efficient, as well as communication. So the first thing I want you to do is you're logged in, and this is your home page of your dashboard. Over here, you have your dashboard menu. You can see them as icons or as written words. This column here is a communication column. This is where announcements are posted or if there are any activities that need grading. Given that we are doing credit recovery and advancement, everything should be auto-graded, so I don't see you receiving anything in the to-do column, unless maybe there's an email that comes in, but students should be emailing you through your school email. Okay, over here is your main page that shows all the different courses. This teacher currently has 4 courses. It looks like she has 2 of the same, but if you look closely, this is an advancement of U.S. history, which remember is for our SPED or for modified coursework, and this is our prescriptive course. First thing I want to show you is over on your dashboard menu. I'd like for you to look over here at the people icon and select that. And this will show you every single student that you have enrolled in and every single course. So if you can see, this is my student 1, I have I'm a teacher, student 3, and I have multiple courses. One thing I found to be helpful is to go here to my options cog and to group by course. So now I'm seeing all my students by courses. The other thing I would do on my options cog is I would edit visible columns, and I would make sure that the following is selected: score, progress, pace, performance, and late. Now you can choose as many of these as you want, but these that I selected I think are the most useful as a teacher to pop in and see the progress students are making, what their score is, how are they doing on their pace, and it's a color-coded feature. So right now, all these students are on pace and their performance is fine. It does look like student number 2 has 7 late assignments, so that's got me curious. I'm going to select that. And I can see that because this was a training student that I started this student back on June 4th, and these are the late assignments. So it just gives you a real quick snapshot of where your students are. I'm going to go back home and go back to that People tab. Again, I grouped it by course, and I edited the visible columns that I found to be most efficient for looking at student work. The other thing I'd like to show you, I'm going to go back to my home tab, is on the dashboard menu, I'd like for you to look at the icon of the envelope. This is your communication to your courses, to all the courses. So if you select this, you can create announcements that will be shown to the students. So if you want to do a new announcement, you would select this. Currently shows all the courses that you're a teacher in. So you can choose to do all courses. You can choose just one course. It's up to you what your announcement is. Start and end date of your announcement, or you can leave it up indefinitely. Down below here is where you will post the announcement that you want to post. An example would be a welcome of who you are. You might want to also put in your course codes if you'd like to have that on the announcements, some of your policies and procedures. Once you found what you want, you would just select the word post, and then that will go out to students only in your courses. The other thing I'd like to show you on your dashboard menu is your performance tab or grade book. It looks like a scale. I'm going to select that. Now I'm going to choose a course. I'm going to use the U.S. History course that I have right here. So I'll select this, and this opens up my gradebook. Once you're here, there are some suggestions that I would make for setting up your gradebook for grading. I would go to the options cog, and I would make sure these 3 items are checked: non-gradable activities, inactive enrollments, feedback indicators. I would also edit the visible columns that you see through here. So I'm going to select this. I would have the student's name, your grade, however way you like to see it. I'm fine with a score or percentage. Some people like a letter. If you want to see how many minutes a student's spending on the course, you can select that. I don't have that selected. I would select gradable completion, pace, because remember, we need to be keeping track of progress, pace, and be communicating that with our students. And then I would also put in, that lets you know when the end date is for the student. So again, on this visible columns, I would suggest name, some form of scoring that you feel comfortable with, either a score or a letter, gradable completion, pace, and the end date set for the student. Once you've done this, you'll be able to see these items through here. So for example, I'm a teacher, has not completed 0% of the course, but is on pace. The end date is June 28th. If I want to get more information about this individual student, I can select this, and it will give me a detailed view of all the assignments and due dates set up for this student. Again, remember, we have created a 14-day pacing for the students. So this has set this up with the student starting on June 11th and items that are due, giving that student due dates. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my gradebook, and you will have a long list of students here. If you need to excuse a student from an assignment or a quiz, it's very important that you also excuse the lesson. See these notebook papers? That's showing that it's a lesson, and the icon of the question mark shows me that it's a quiz. So if a student, sometimes a student is just really struggling. They've taken that quiz 3 times. They've talked to you. You've gone in. You can see that maybe they've got a better score, because remember, it's the last score that's recorded. So, this is between you and the student. And if you feel like, what, this kiddo is ready to move on, then you can go in here and make whatever adjustment you feel necessary. You can adjust that score. Remember, 60% is the move forward score. You can excuse it, which will not add or subtract in their overall grade. Or you can give them an override. An override is a placeholder. It says, we'll get back to this later because I really want you to do better on this, but let's just move forward and we'll come back and look at this later. If you do an override, it will look like a black piece of paper. It's like a holding piece. I'm going to go ahead and go in and remove that override. Okay. The other thing is if you want that student to move forward, remember I told you need to also mark these 2, or else they cannot move forward. A lot of times you'll get a student that you're like, I excused you, I gave you the override. You also need to remember to mark the lessons before it complete. Then you can go in here and do your override or a score or excuse. That's important for student movement. If a student seems to be frozen, it's because most likely the lesson is not showing complete. And that is why you need to show in your options, show non-gradable activities. I also have you showing inactive enrollments because as students complete the course and they do that final review, they will drop off. They'll become inactive, and you won't see them on your grade book unless you show this.